Alright, welcome back to the Shardbreaker podcast. This is episode 7 of The Way of Kings from Stormlight Archive. We read chapters 27 through 20, or 27, 24 through 27. Starting with the fucking other number. 24 through
I got so
27.
scared for a second,
I
because
got-
that is
I
not
I
what
was like, I did not read 28.
I started at 27, so 24. 24 through 27 this week. I am Midnight, your host, and I'm here with Darkness
Hello.
and Mythic.
Hello.
So yeah, we start with chapter 24, The Gallery of Maps. We get a very short epigraph, which just says, "Neither point makes the things I have written to you here untrue." I didn't really have a question for that one. That one wasn't the most interesting of the epigraphs that we get this week. The next, not the next, yeah, I think the next epigraph we get is more interesting one. So yeah, let's go straight into Dalinar's point of view as he stands in the King's Gallery of Maps, which is a long soul-cast building with a domed roof and colorful shale bark growing in formations. High Prince Rohan is there with a multitude of attendants, and Dalinar asks Rohan to walk with him, and he notices the Prime Map, which is a large map of the whole Shattered Plains that had been discovered, with permanent bridges marked down, as well as what plateaus each High Prince controlled. It also had a list of how many gem hearts each of the High Princes had won, and Dalinar could see that Rohan had won the fewest. So what do you think of the little description of the Gallery of Maps?
Interesting, I guess. I'll bring it up later, because
Oh,
I still don't understand what one part is, but it's not here, it's like later on.
Okay. What do you think, Mythic? With the Gallery of Maps?
I mean, it's just kind of wondering why they have it, but like, do you not remember where people's locations are?
Well, I think it sounds like people like buy and sell like the plateaus and stuff. Like you're kind of keeping track of what's all been discovered and who owns what.
No, it's just art.
I think it's real like strategy meetings and stuff.
Interesting.
They have 3D holographic maps.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
So Dalinar also notes a plateau named the Tower, which is a large plateau closer to the Parshendi area of the Shattered Plains. The Chasm Fiends tend to like pupating there, and the Parshendi had never lost a battle on the tower. Dalinar thinks that they could corner the Parshendi on it, potentially, and they could take out a large number of them there. Dalinar then mentions that Sadeas had been buying out a lot of plateaus recently, and also notes that they had yet to see the center of the Shattered Plains. Rohan notes that this isn't the point of this. Why does my sentence here not make sense? Oh yeah, Rohan notes that. I've worded this really weirdly. I'm sorry. Rohan notes that discovering the Shattered Plains isn't the point to this, but the point is to besiege the Parshendi. However, Dalinar says it's taking too long and they need to change tactics. Rohan states that Dalinar hasn't been the best example of fighting recently, and asks if he's losing his taste for battle. However, Dalinar refutes this and says he cares deeply about this war and his nephew and their people. Dalinar then suggests a joint plateau assault, as each High Prince is an expert in something, with Dalinar's expertise being his infantry and Royan's being his archers. Royan seems cautious of this and asks how gem hearts and shards would be distributed. Dalinar suggests splitting the wealth evenly, and after some hesitation, he says that if they win any shards, Royan gets the first set, but he gets the second set. Royan then says he will think on it further, and Dalinar thinks that Royan will likely decline because of how cautious he is. So what do you think of Dalinar's suggestion for the joint plateau assaults?
Where he wants to go through each one of them and be like, "Oh, you want to go together?" Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was genuinely hoping it would work, but all these other dudes are kind of just assholes, so.
Yeah. He also says later that
Not
he feels
wrong.
like maybe going for the weakest of them was probably not the best move.
But it would make the most sense, and even if it's not the best move, they should be able to notice that it would make the most sense.
Yeah, for sure.
Whatever. I just didn't like the dude anymore.
You don't like Royan?
No. I don't like half the characters this dude it's surrounded by.
I mean, Kaladin says all Light Eyes are terrible people, so.
Especially Wit. Anyway.
Great. I mean, I love Wit. Wit's awesome.
Also, what do you think about Dalinar promising Royan the first set of shards to try to get him to agree?
I mean, he tried to bait him into it. I feel like that showed his hand a little more than he
I mean, it shows how desperate he is, too, for
exactly, that's what I'm saying.
that.
So before he leaves, Royan asks if Dalinar will be at the feast tonight, considering it is said that there may be a high storm. However, Dalinar pretends he doesn't know what Royan is talking about and says he will be there. He then turns to look back at the Prime Map again, thinking about Alethkar's past and what his brother had been looking into before he died. So what do you think about this old jab at Dalinar regarding not making it to the feast because of a potential high storm?
I was like,
Makes
ooh, shade, you know?
Yeah, but it makes sense though.
Yeah.
Like if you have issues when high storms come up, you should probably not be around people.
So we switch to Adolin's POV as he enters the gallery of maps to see his father with Royan. He asks his father about the meeting, and Dalinar replies that he is worse at diplomacy than he is at war making. Adolin replies with some scripture about how there hasn't been peace since the Tranquilline Halls were taken, and also mentions that he's been looking more into scripture since he's been looking to court Malasha, since things weren't going well with Janala after the disastrous dates. Do you have any thoughts about Adolin moving on from Janala because she didn't take too well to being brought out on his errands with him?
I think about it
Probably
like
not the best thing. Oh, sorry. Go ahead,
You guys keep
we
talking
started
at
at the same time twice.
Wise. Go on,
Uh,
Darkness.
like social standing or diplomatic stand or whatever around them.
Mhm.
Doing that shit, wouldn't it like just ruin their ties with people? Because
I mean, it hasn't seemed like it has so far, luckily, but yeah, he's
well,
apparently.
to be fair, I'm pretty sure they throw an offhand comment or something about it, where like, "Oh, this dude won't be joining us then, huh?" And I'm just like, that's exactly what I'm saying. Like, keep it in your pants and stick with a woman for once. Like,
So Dalinar then mentions that he thinks that it was wrong to go after the weakest High Prince for his plan first, since he is more suspicious of other High Princes trying to take his lands. However, he does still want to try other High Princes. Adolin brings up that Sadeas wants access to their war camp to investigate the saddle issue further, and he worries that Sadeas is going to move against them. Dalinar replies that he does trust Sadeas, but even if he didn't, saying no to the access to investigate would just make him look guilty. Dalinar then quotes his visions, which upsets Adolin. So do you think Sadeas is going to try to blame the saddle break on Dalinar or on Dalinar's men?
That's kind of what the foreshadowing seems to say.
yes, but also it's kind of weird because I don't know if he's actually interpreting what the vision and the person in the vision told him to
Do
correctly.
you think maybe he's misinterpreting what the vision was telling him?
Maybe. I don't know. It's kind of weird because it says he takes it as, "Oh, I gotta trust this dude right here that just pulled up," and I just don't like him anymore. So.
Yeah, because I think in the vision, Dalinar basically says like, "Should I trust Sadeas?" And the guy in the vision, or like the voice in the vision, was like, "Yes, believe in honor."
It's like one of those moments when you're on the phone and the line cuts off and you're like,
Okay. I feel like you were to say more, but you didn't.
So Adolin then insists on talking about Dalinar's vision, since Dalinar continually stops him from bringing it up. Adolin states that they are mocked and their reputation is declining, but Dalinar refuses to do anything about it. Dalinar says he won't hear about this from his son, but Adolin states that Dalinar lets everyone else speak poorly of him, but won't allow Renarin or himself to say their truth. He says
Honestly, I trust this.
I felt that low-key.
I'm with it. Yeah, I'm with him on this.
He says that Dalinar's mind is going as he's getting older, and maybe it's partially due to guilt or to the codes. However, he's bringing down the whole house with him. Dalinar replies that he must trust himself and that his visions are showing him something important. However, Adolin says that often the simplest answer is the truth. The visions are not real, and the strap of the king's saddle just wore out. Dalinar then tells Adolin to leave him alone, and Adolin grits his teeth and leaves. He feels bad for being so loud and making an outburst, but he feels this needed to be said. So what do you think overall about Dalinar and Adolin's fight there?
I think the kid is right, to be honest.
Well, I don't like the kid, I guess, and I
Keep
don't
saying kid,
like.
but I'm pretty sure he's older than you, Dalinar. Or Dalinar. Darkness.
No, but I said it because
Yeah,
I
but
said it, and I just don't remember his name. So
I said it because he's his kid. So
Yeah.
the kid.
I said it just because I don't remember his name.
Adolin.
Yeah.
Saying it's not gonna make me remember.
No, not really.
But anyway, I there's ways around most of what he said, and the only part I actually agree with is the flexibility that he doesn't give his children.
Yeah.
He expects a lot more of them than he does from like the other people.
Yeah.
Which I feel like both make sense, but it's also a bit hypocritical because he's like, obviously I expect more from you because you're my sons, but also like, yeah, why are you just letting everyone else walk all over you?
Mhm.
Exactly.
It's kind of like exactly the situation I'm in.
Oh.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, so I'm just like, when I was reading it last night, I was like, yeah, you tell him, even though I don't like you.
Who's walking all over you?
Don't worry about it.
Oh gosh.
Alright, cracks knuckles, let's go.
It was midnight, obviously.
What?
Oh,
No.
Alright, well, gotta attack midnight now.
No, it wasn't me.
Get in the comments, guys.
Gosh. So that was the end of chapter 24. And we move on to chapter 25, which is called The Butcher. And it's a flashback to 7 years ago. So we switch to past Kaladin's point of view as he overhears two women discussing that opening people up and dealing with their insides is wrong. It's noted that it's currently winter and that the weeping is approaching, meaning that the high storms are coming less frequently. One of the women then says that Liren stole the Goblet of Spheres from the previous city lord and hadn't left a proper will, nor had a woman to scribe for him. Liren had been the only one there when he supposedly wrote the document and died.
After all, women wouldn't want to go to war, right?
See, I'm gonna clarify to everyone listening, including you guys. Opening up people and feeling their insides is not completely wrong. It's natural, you know.
Oh my god, darkness.
Yeah, so what do you think about these rumors going around about Liren apparently stealing these spheres and like they weren't actually willed to like Kaladin?
I wouldn't be surprised. He has to die somehow, you know.
Do you think Liren has to die?
Yeah.
Eventually, yeah. Whether Kaladin's be the one that killed him or somebody else.
I mean,
I don't think Kaladin would kill him.
in Cyrus's books, usually it's the mom who dies and is dead, not the dad.
Yeah, but like that is like not important because we have a whole main character that's a dad, so it's like balance, you know.
He's
so,
not
like,
the important dad.
Yeah.
We also have more moms in this one. We got Kaladin's mom. We also have Navani, which is Yasna and Elikor's mom.
Okay, the only mom I remember is Yvonne over there, or whatever her name is.
Hesina? Or do you mean Navani?
The one you just said. I literally
Navani?
forgot the name as soon as you said it.
Navani?
Yeah, there you
Navani.
go.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is women are more important in this book. Got it.
Oh, so what happened to that one chick I don't like? Because she disappeared for 3 years.
What happened to that one chick I don't like?
She doesn't have any point of views in this part.
She's probably like either enjoying her time with her lesbian lover or
Oh my
training
god.
really hard.
We're getting some Dalinar point of views instead of some Shallan point of views.
Schlong!
Yeah,
Yeah!
Shlong. Yep.
Oh god.
Instead of Shlong, we got some Dalinar.
So Kaladin angrily stalks, or actually, sorry, Mythic, did you have anything to say about the rumors going around about Liren potentially stealing the spheres?
I don't disagree. I think she is stealing the spheres.
You also think the spheres were stolen?
Mhm.
So Kaladin angrily stalks out from between the alleyways, walking past the women who flee inside the bakery when they see him. His satisfaction doesn't last long, as he thinks that people complain about his father, but will use glyph words when they do much less than his father does for them. Kaladin then sees his mother chipping creme stalactites off a building that had formed from the last high storm. He tells his mother that everyone hates his father, and she says that isn't true and also corrects his grammar, stating that he doesn't want to be seen as ignorant as he sees the women whose grammar he was imitating. So what do you think about...
I find that hilarious. I find that hilarious that his mother's a grammar Nazi.
She's like, speak properly, Kaladin. But that was actually my question. What do you think about Hestina wanting Kaladin to speak properly and not imitate the
Who the fuck
women
is
of the
that?
village? Hestina is Kaladin's mother.
That's Kaladin's mother, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I hate that. Sometimes he'll
You
think
hate
about
that?
her. No, I hate that sometimes he'll think about her and like with her name, like her actual name.
Instead of just
Or
mom.
like I guess she's mentioned with her actual name instead of just like his
Yeah,
middle name.
both of his parents are generally just mentioned by their names.
My father.
My father was a good man.
I had no father.
What do you think about his mom's job of just getting rid of this creme off the roofs of buildings so they aren't weighed down?
I don't even remember that, to be honest.
Look, you mean neither. I remember more of the conversation they had.
So Hesina then says that the people here don't hate Liren, but they do get uncomfortable around knowledge that they don't understand. She also states that when glyph words don't work, people can blame the Almighty, but if Liren fails to heal someone, they're going to blame him. Kaladin says that he might want to be something other than a surgeon, like a baker or a farmer, although he doesn't say what he really wants to be, which is a soldier. So do you think Kaladin will eventually admit to his mother that he wants to become a soldier, and do you think she would accept that?
No.
They're all gonna die.
I mean, I think he'll admit it, but I don't think she's gonna accept it at all.
Mm-hmm. You just said they're all gonna die, Darkness.
Yeah.
So his mother asks if he really wants to do that and work out in the fields where the sun will age him before his time. Kaladin replies that he doesn't, but he also notes that his mother doesn't have to work because of the spheres that people say Liren stole. Hesina just replies that she likes to work. She also mentions their status as second non and that Kaladin might be able to marry into a noble family. Kaladin states that Hesina wanted him to marry Laurel in the past, which is why they encouraged him to spend so much time with her when they were younger. Hesina replies that it had been a possibility. Kaladin thinks that he likes learning and healing people, but he also likes using the staff and the thought of becoming a soldier. However, he can only choose one path. So what do you think about Kaladin's parents having wanted to marry him to Laurel in the past? I believe you guys did kind of guess that they might...
Here's the thing, though. how can he could do both of those. He could be a combat medic.
Well, it sounds like they specifically want him to be like the surgeon of his town, like and take over
Yeah,
for his dad.
but I'm just
So he
saying
can't really be a combat medic if he does that.
he could technically though do medicine and war at the same time.
Well, to be fair, he's doing it anyway. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Just need to become a slave and a bridgeman, and you get the best of both worlds.
Yeah, that's how he did it.
You also apparently get to be a fucking like pop star in the middle of a fucking hole.
So his mother asks if he really. Oh, sorry, I read that part. So Kaladin helps Hesina work as he thinks about his potential future. Suddenly, Liren comes out calling for Hesina and says that the new city lord is arriving. Apparently, he didn't send word ahead, which could be a good or bad sign of his personality. Hesina states that Liren is being pessimistic, like he was when he met her parents, and Liren just knows that that meeting had gone badly. Kaladin apparently had never met Hesina's parents, and they were rarely spoken of. What do you think about the fact that Kaladin has never met his grandparents?
They're dead. I'm joking.
They probably are on the opposite side. They didn't agree with what
With her
what
being
her
with Liren?
husband, yeah, or what her husband's thing, choice of job was.
Mm.
Huh. That'd be interesting.
It's usually how it works.
Maybe they wanted her to marry into a noble family because maybe she was also like a second or first non before marrying Liren.
I keep thinking of Nonbread.
Nonbread.
So they then meet up with Tian as they wait with the rest of the town to see the arrival of the new city lord, Roshon. Kaladin knows that the man had many horses and seems to be bringing a lot of furniture and people with him. Eventually, the city lord gets out of his carriage and regards the people. An older woman and a younger man can also be seen peeking out from the carriage as well. But then he turns to get back into the carriage without a word. Liren calls out to Roshon, asking if they can show him around the town. However, when he tells the city lord that he's the surgeon, the man just replies that Liren is the reason he's in this pitiful town, as he failed to cure the previous city lord. When he leaves, Liren makes a metaphor to Hesina about throwing a pair in a trio, which is an unsure win or loss that depends on what everyone else plays. So what was your first impression of Roshon?
I don't like him.
Which one was Roshan again? The one that's
The new
made
city
the comment?
lord. Yeah, the new city lord.
No, he seems arrogant.
So then we move to chapter 26, Stillness. The epigraph is, I am being chased. Your friends of the 17th Shard, I suspect. I believe they're still lost, following a false trail I left for them. They'll be happier that way. I doubt they have any inkling what to do with me should they actually catch me. So what do you think the 17th Shard is?
Fake, because we all know that 16 is the number.
Yeah, there's 16 shards, and
It. What
he's
if
not
it's,
saying
like-
the 17th shard. He's saying you're friends of the 17th shard.
What if
That
it's
implies that there is
phased?
17th shard.
What were you saying, Darkness?
What if it's Sazed?
You think Sage is the 17th
Possible.
shard?
No, but it would be. It would kind of
make
make
that-
sense considering
yeah.
that he's merged too. You know,
Hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah, instead of just being one
or
or the
it
other.
could be like you know how there's an like academy or whatever. I guess.
Yeah, the University's a Silverlight.
Yeah. So like it could be like a group like that. That's like who knows? Maybe trying to make a new shard or something.
You think it's like an organization who's trying to create a 17th shard?
Maybe that's what they believe in.
Hmm. Also, what do you think about this? The writer saying that he's being chased by these people, but he's left a false trail for them. So there's people looking for the writer.
Well, yeah, I'm pretty sure there's always gonna be bad sides and good sides. I just have a hard time grasping who's on whose side here.
Mm-hmm. Do you remember any people that were looking for someone?
That's what I was thinking,
Yeah,
but I don't.
the three people, the shard hoppers or whatever.
The shard hoppers.
The world
hoppers.
hoppers.
No, the shard hoppers, the ones that hop between shards.
Oh my god.
Yep, those people.
Yeah, that's who I was thinking of when I was thinking about like
Do you think those
Them,
are the people that are being referred to? Galadon, Demo, and I think Bao was the name of the guy from White Sand.
I don't think so.
You don't think those are the people that are being mentioned? I mean, they're all from different places. Why would they be together?
Unless they're looking for somebody. Ooh.
Do you remember who they were
Maybe
looking
they're
for?
just scouting. Maybe they're sightseeing. Maybe they're on
No,
vacation.
I can't remember, to be honest.
You don't remember who they're looking for? They
No.
mentioned a very specific name.
Aren't
That's what
they
were searching for?
looking for what's his name? Was it not Hoyt?
Yeah, possibly. Yeah.
Maybe I'm remembering incorrectly.
That does sound familiar, to be honest.
They were searching for Hoyd. Those are the people that are being mentioned in this letter. Do you think that Hoyd is the one writing this
Hoyd's the one
letter?
Writing the letter? Yeah, probably. If that's
Oh, that would
who's-
be interesting.
For once, we get to hear from Hoyd more than normal. Yeah, that'd be crazy.
Hoyd's been chased down, but he's led them on a false trail.
It doesn't shock me, honestly. He seems to have done this for a very long time.
Any other thoughts about that epigraph?
Not really, but I do wonder how long they stay in the world trying to see if he's there or not.
I mean, it sounds like they've been there at least a few weeks as of that interlude. Because they had that one guy going all over the Pure Lake looking for him. Alright, so we go to Dalinar's point of view, as he regards the maps in his sitting room while his scribe, Litima, reads to him from the Way of Kings. Renarin was here
The
with
Way
him.
of Kings. I'm reading that too.
Yep. Renarin was here with him, but Adolin was not, as he and Dalinar had been careful around each other since their argument. After Brightness Litima was done reading to him and had left, Dalinar wanders over to the book and worries that Adolin may be right about his visions being delusions of his mind. He thinks that the vision started several months after he began having the Way of Kings read to him. He also thinks that a Lethkar needs the Blackthorn, not the tired philosopher. So do you think it's better for Dalinar to be the Blackthorn or the philosopher?
You heard what I said, right? The
did.
philosopher?
Wait,
it's
what
true.
was the other option? The other option?
The Blackthorns, that's what
That's-
he's called when he's like a warrior.
Right. No, philosopher. He's dealing. You know what he's dealing with, right? Like,
So you guys both agree that he's wrong and that the philosopher is more important than the Blackthorn?
100%.
So Dalinar notes to Renarin that both Royan and Aladar had refused his request to work together on plateau runs. Renarin brings up that Adolin is worried about Sadeas, but Dalinar replies that both he and Sadeas know that working against each other would undermine Alethkar as a kingdom. Suddenly they hear the horns of Proshendi being spotted out on the plateaus, and Dalinar notes that it's close enough that he could go for it. Dalinar hurries off to the war room to consult with his high officer, Taleb. Taleb states that they have a direct line to where the Chasm Fiend had been spotted, whereas the other two closest high princes would have to go around several extra plateaus. Dalinar hesitates, but then thinks that going after a Chasm Fiend would do a lot for his troops' morale and would help discredit some of the rumors about him. Dalinar states that they will march and to send for Adolin, causing the officers in the room to get excited. So were you surprised that Dalinar decided to go out on a plateau assault, considering he's gone on so few lately?
I mean, I don't know about surprised. We're just genuinely happy to see him doing shit.
right. Instead of just staying back and
Mm-hmm.
What if it's like less? Oh, you read this, so like you're getting visions now, and more like you're following the codes. So
You think maybe whatever's showing him the visions is like showing it to him because of the way he's been acting lately?
yeah. What if it's like? What if it like everything on this world is like motive based?
Interesting.
Cause I've been thinking about it, and like Kaladin or whatever, when he was like when he just switched with the bridge leader or whatever, the one in the front.
Oh, yeah, when he decided to stay in front instead of Rock.
Yeah, he did the little arrow thing, and then like I don't know. I feel like a lot of it is like honor based and stuff like that.
Syl's also very insistent on him being truthful and not lying.
Yeah,
Honorable.
yeah, And then she's like, "Is this not wrong? Is this not wrong?" You know, like.
Gotta do what's right. Maybe Dalinar's also doing what's right.
One could hope, right?
Maybe he's trying to do what's right, and it's also like not getting the fucking picture. I still feel like he's not getting the picture. I really do.
I like your theories here.
Don't say that.
What do you
What's your
mean?
theories? Because you're so far off that you know.
I like
doesn't seem
when
like
when you think about things a lot
Make
more and you're
dumb
able to.
theories. Yeah, I know.
So Dalinar is outfitted in his shard plate, starting from the boots upward. Taleb comes back in while he's half outfitted and asks if they should bring some man-carried bridges. Dalinar is against it, but gives in and says Taleb can train one bridge crew. And Taleb states that it won't be used for the actual assault, so that the men aren't in danger. Once his shard plate is fully on, he hurries out, letting some excitement of wearing shard plate again take over as he rushes through the halls and jumps off a ledge towards the barracks. Adolin soon arrives as well, and Dalinar goes over to him and states that Adolin had said what he must. Adolin replies that he is sorry for where and when he said it, but not that he did say it. Dalinar nods and Adolin relaxes. As they prepare to head out, Dalinar is told that Sadeas wants access to his war camp for investigation, and Dalinar agrees, though he wonders what Sadeas wants right now. So what do you think of Dalinar and Adolin kind of reconciling after their argument?
needed to happen.
Who reconciled?
Adolin and Dalinar after their fight.
I mean, it makes sense. It happens with like children and their parents. So.
So Adolin and Dalinar get on their Rashadiums as they see Sadeas coming over to them, wearing his own shard plate. He states that he wants to speak to Dalinar's soldiers as they make their way out to the plateau assault, and Dalinar reluctantly allows it, even though he states that his soldiers need to focus. They then march out, using the permanent bridges until they reach the end of them, and then using Dalinar's large siege tower-type bridges that are pulled by chulls. He notes that they are quite slow and wonders if they could use faster man-carried bridges for the early plateaus and only the siege tower ones for the assault. So what do you think about Sadeas questioning Dalnar's men on the way to the plateau assault?
I mean, we figured he was gonna do it, considering that, like, he's annoying as fuck.
Yeah, but just like the timing of it all, and like deciding like, oh, I'm gonna come out in this like plateau assault with you to question your men on
No,
the way there.
I was so scared that by the time they got back to her, like after that, like the dude is gonna be there, like, you're gonna jail.
Oh shit. That'd be
Yeah.
crazy.
She's like, that'd be crazy. Crosses out like 5 different lines on her notes.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, guys, that'd be crazy.
What do you think, Mythic, about Sadeas going out there and to question his men at that exact time?
We already know the dude's a prick, so doesn't shock me at all.
Also, I remember why I don't really remember this dude's name, because I'm always autocorrecting it in my head to like salad bar, but
Salad?
and I feel like I've said it before too.
Salad bar.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, Mr. Salad Bar.
It's just easier to remember names that like are easier to remember,
Also, what do you think about Dalinar considering bridge crews as long as they aren't put into the direct fire of the Parshendi?
I mean, at least it's not like killing them,
I mean, it's a difference of what we're seeing anyways.
Mhm.
So
Mm-hmm.
seems like the other people just don't give a shit about their bridge crews.
Sadeas then comes up to Dalinar, stating that his men are loyal. He also brings up how Dalinar seems to be restraining himself and his emotions, but Dalinar replies that feeling no emotions is to be dead, but to express too many emotions is to be a child. Sadeas also asks if Dalinar still feels the thrill, and Dalinar replies that he does, although usually men don't talk of the thrill. They also talk briefly of the Radiance, and Sadeas says that the Knights Radiant never had the powers that the past claims that they did. Instead, they just used tricks, as no one can recreate what they used to do. Dalinar then tells Sadeas that they need to work together to keep the Lethkar together, but Sadeas makes snide remarks that causes Dalinar to ride off away from him. So what do you think of Dalinar and Sadeas' conversation?
No, but the fact that he said that they use tricks, I was just like, sounds a lot like what people who go against Christianity would say.
Right.
About Jesus, because nobody can replicate what they did. I was just like, that's crazy.
Dalinar also makes kind of a comment in there about like maybe we're not worthy of those powers anymore, which
Yep.
kind of goes along with Darkness's little theory
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, the honor theory. Yeah.
And that's why he's getting visions, because he's worthy now.
So we then timeskip a bit to the final bridge being put into place, and Dalinar begins summoning his Shardblade. He can feel the thrill beginning to rise in him, and sees anticipation spren and a few fear spren appearing around his soldiers as they get ready. He says to Adolin that he never questions how he does assaults, but Adolin replies that he agrees with the way Dalinar does things, which with them leading the charge, since he also cares about their men. Oathbringer, Dalinar's Shardblade, falls into his hand at the end of 10 heartbeats, and he calls out to charge. Dalinar and Adolin run to the edge of the plateau and then jump across as the Parshendi fire arrows at them. As soon as they land, Dalinar easily kills 3 Parshendi with Oathbringer, their eyes burning black with smoke. He continues to kill and sees Adolin land nearby, also swinging his own Shardblade. Dalinar can hear the Parshendi singing as they switch their bows and axes for axes and swords, as they always sing during battle. Dalinar kicks the bodies of the dead as he knows it upsets the Parshendi, and they come in pairs at him as they often do. So what did you think about Dalinar and Adolin leading the assault on the Parshendi instead of letting their random soldiers lead the assault and potentially get killed?
Random soldiers. Okay.
Well, usually the frontline people aren't as important as the infantry.
Wow, really?
Wow, Midnight, that says a lot
Midnight.
about you.
Yeah, damn.
Oh
You
my
don't think
gosh.
people are important? That's crazy.
Either way, what do you think about Dalinar and Adolin being the ones at the front of the charge?
I don't know.
I mean,
feel
that
like
makes sense, especially in a honorable perspective.
oh, goodness. Now Darkness is gonna be all honor bound.
Don't be surprised if you see me do that in D&D.
Please, I'd love to see it. I'm the only one that seems to jump in the way of fucking fights. So.
I was getting
You withdrew into your shell.
poked everywhere, so
You withdrew into your shell. Exactly.
I did, but I also got fucked up and killed 2 of them. So
I mean, yeah. I mean, you probably would have got fucked up again if I.
and not only that, but I was saving lives with those methods.
Oh,
Their
yeah.
lives, not yours.
I was good. I was fine.
Also, what do you think about the fact that the Parshendi tend to attack in pairs and also sing while they fight?
Shouldn't the other ones that we find out later have like the armor that is like infused to them, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay, them guys are cool as fuck. Fucking metal.
maybe so. Maybe they're just like they just want to be music artists, you know?
Oh, goodness. There's better ways to do it than the way they're doing it.
What do you mean? What better way than to like?
Murder a bunch of people?
Yeah. Well, technically they got murdered there, but you know,
Yeah, but I mean, they're trying to kill people, supposedly.
what better way than to like infuse your passion with trauma? Like,
So the
um,
thrill. Oh,
I'm
sorry.
sorry, but maybe it's just maybe it
I'm sorry,
actually does
but
have to do with like uh their music, because I don't know. We technically don't know all the capabilities. There seems to be a lot of stuff you can do in this world.
maybe their music does do something, you're saying?
Yeah, or maybe it's just like a rhythm type of thing where they, you know how like they bring drums into battle and stuff like that
You
back
know,
then.
that's to scare the people, right? Like it's to scare your enemies.
Got the war chants going on.
So it could be possible. Could be the way that they're doing. They're trying to, strike
It's
fear into
just
the.
imagine they're like singing is horrible though, and they're just like
It's
singing in the
all
face of
super
your
out of
enemy.
tune.
I mean, imagine having your name that is a poem.
So the
Get
thrill
into an
fills.
argument.
Hmm?
Getting into an argument. As I get into an argument, it's just a scat battle.
So the thrill fills Dalinar as he fights until suddenly it's gone, leaving him with a painful revulsion that makes his knees grow weak as he stares at the butchery before him. Adolin comes over to help, and Dalinar gets to his feet, hesitantly embracing the thrill as it begins to rise in him again. However, the revulsion comes again as he looks at the broken, bleeding corpses around him. In his head, he hears that shard blades used to be for protecting, not just for killing. Life before death, he hears, and wonders what that voice is.
Ruin's talking to him in his head.
But yeah, so what do you think about the thrill coming and going from Dalinar?
He's getting old. It's like erectile dysfunction.
Disinfection.
Okay.
No,
Wait,
maybe it's the codes changing him. You know, like too good for them, I guess, for the thrill. Or it might be like Mythic, you know, where like Mythic said, where like it's a rune situation and he's using a different aspect of what this world provides instead of like the one that is more like evil based, I guess.
you think it's like two conflicting powers that he's kind of like being
Yeah.
led into? Like the thrill's part of one, and like this like the visions and everything are part of a different one.
Yep.
Possible. Yeah.
Especially since the vision dude, or like I guess the fucking words or whatever, what the voice. It was like, oh, like we used to use sharp blades to protect, and you know, it's kind of, well, I guess not we, like sharp blades were used to protect in general, but you know, did it say we, or did it just say sharp blades?
It said shard
Or
blades
sharp
used to be for
sharp
protecting, not
blades.
just for killing.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
they never said we used them. They just said they used to be used this way.
Yeah. Also, do you remember where you've heard the words life before death before? So,
No.
Since this is information you guys should already have, just want to remind you that on the back of the book, so when we first did the trailer for this book, part of the back of the book says, like the very end of it says, speak again the hallowed oaths, life before death, strength before weakness, journey before destination. The knights radiant must stand again.
So follow these codes, and we'll be like rewarded with being like reborn in a sense.
But also remember, there's a lot of stories about how the Knights Radiant. They keep saying the Knights Radiant betrayed mankind.
What do you mean? Like, is that like just factual, or is
That's so basically the few times we've had like ardents talk and like religious talks, they've said like they call them like the lost radiant sometimes, and like the Knights Radiant said they were going to protect us, but then they betrayed us and they left us, and like we don't have a lot of information, just that like the religion Vorinism like sees the Radiance now as like a bad thing.
History changes. It's okay. After all, history is written by the victors. So
maybe the sacrifices they made were too great, and they were like, you know what, we don't deserve these no more. Or maybe the bad. No, wait. Yeah, like Mythic said, like history is written by the whatever, by the
For the
whatever.
winners.
But like, what if technically they didn't win, but they also didn't lose? Because what if their sacrifice was the reason there's no Voidbringers or whatever right now?
Well, yeah.
But
So we know from the
they're not.
prelude that apparently there was this
we're
fight.
taking preludes.
Prelude. So there was the fight between the Voidbringers and the Heralds were there. The Heralds were supposed to all die and go back to Damnation, I believe. And one of them died, the rest decided not to go back, and they're like, we'll just tell everyone that we won. But we don't actually know if we won.
History is written by the victor.
Pretty sure they don't even know who the victor is here.
But I mean, like, if they think they won, so they write their own story.
Yeah, the Heralds pretended that they won, not really knowing if they actually won properly or not. And the Heralds are still regarded highly. The Heralds are still what people praise. Although the Radiants, who we know from Dalnar's visions, also fought the Voidbringers, they are apparently looked down upon as, like, betraying mankind. So, just something to think about. That's the information you guys have so far about all of the history.
Well, mankind doesn't even deserve them, so.
So Dalnar glances back to see that Sadeas seems disapproving. Although Sadeas' way led to more deaths, if Dalinar or Adolin went down, it would be even worse for their army, and they were putting themselves at the front of the battle. However, he thinks it's a better way still, and he gets on Gallant and rides into battle as his army charges over the bridges. We skip to the end of the battle, which Dalinar had won. He allows Adolin the honor of harvesting the gem heart from the chrysalis. As Adolin kills the pupating creature and reaches inside of it to pull out the gem heart, glory spread pop up all throughout the waiting army. Dalinar walks away, noting the dead soldiers and wounded that were being helped or gathered by the others. He notes that the thrill had been subdued in him throughout the battle, and that he hadn't fought as well as he once had. So do you think the fact that Dalinar didn't battle as well as he usually does is going to cause more rumors to spread about him, or do you think it's going to be good that he still went out into battle?
Well, it's definitely going to cause more rumors.
I feel like it's going to be a mixed bag, in all honesty.
Mm.
The people who hate him are going to create, more vicious rumors, and then, anybody who's on his side would probably be like, yeah, well, at least he went out.
Right, he's always putting himself on the front line for me specifically because I'm in love with him. But yeah, sorry, I just need like total like romantic drama in this book right now.
So Dalinar then notices that the Parshendi that had escaped the battle were watching from a nearby plateau. Dalinar's own scouts watched them warily to see if they would try to attack again. Amongst the Parshendi was one wearing Shardplate, although that one hadn't been here during the battle. Dalinar wonders if they had arrived too late, and wonders why they would show up now. He watches as the Parshendi leap off across the plateaus. So what do you think about this Parshendi Shardbearer that didn't join the fight?
He grew shard plate out of his skin. That's why he didn't show up, because
He needed time to grow it.
Yeah.
What if that actually is the reason? And like, that's crazy. What if he like couldn't go in because he didn't have enough moisturizer?
If they could grow Shardplate, do you think that's where Shardplate comes from then?
No.
No.
No. I figured they found a different way to get it.
Mm.
Or maybe, no, yeah, they found a different way to get it.
What do you think, Mythic, about this Parshendi Shardbearer?
It shows that, they're in some way more powerful than we probably were led to believe.
Maybe that's why they need the
Carapace?
No, the creature.
Chasm Fiend?
Yeah, those. That's why they need those to get the thing to power whatever it is that's like. Do they come out charged or are they just chargeable when they kill them from a fiend?
The gem hearts?
If I remember correctly, they said they were shining, so.
Yeah, I think they're already infused when they pull them out, but I'm not 100% sure.
Well, regardless, it's gonna hold a lot.
Regardless.
So maybe they just need that much. What is it called? Stormlight. Stormlight. Yeah.
Yeah, Darkness. That's the series of this. That's the series. It's the Stormlight.
No, it's not. It's Way of Kings.
Way of Kings is the book. The series is called the Stormlight Archives.
Series of codes that we have to follow as podcast members.
Oh God.
We're gonna have to go into battle first. Sorry, guys.
Oh gosh.
I mean, hey, I'm gonna win more than you, so. I'll just wait my 10 seconds and water you with my shard blade. Wit can't do nothing. He's just witty.
He can make love to you. It'll be distracting.
Oh, okay. I'm okay with that.
You see, it'll work.
So then we get chapter 27, Chasm Duty. So first of all, we get an image here, which I'll show so that Mythic can see it, which is a reproduction of a woodblock print image that some scholars date to a few generations after Aharietium, described as a depiction of a Voidbringer.
It's kind of cute. It looks like a Pokemon.
It's a crustacean.
More crabs.
I want to write
Crab
it.
people.
This whole series,
Crabs.
or well, I guess this whole book so
Yeah.
far has all been just crabs.
It's all crabs.
All these people have crabs, guys.
You think sushi would be a big part of this world?
I mean, they do definitely eat crab legs and stuff. Because they mention it during one of the feasts that Dalinar was at.
Yeah, no, but like, imagine how much money a sushi maker would make. Yeah.
And then we get the epigraph, which is if anything I have said makes a glimmer of sense to you, I trust that you'll call them off. Or maybe you could astound me and ask them to do something productive for once. So do you think that the receiver of this letter will help the writer, or do you think they're just going to ignore them?
The help.
They'll help.
Yeah, they're not writing this fucking letter for nothing.
So we switched.
I do know, because I'm the receiver of the letter. No,
Are you? So we switch to Kaladin's point of view as he makes his way into the apothecary's shop. It was 2 days later, and Kaladin had continued training, Rock and Tef now training with him, and also milking reeds with them. They had gone on a bridge run today, but luckily their army had shown up before the Parshendi, and thus they had not lost any men, although the army had lost the battle and had to retreat. Kaladin places a medium-sized liquor bottle of knobweed sap onto the counter and asks the apothecary how much he'll pay Kaladin for it. However, the man replies that the sap from the nearby plants is weaker, so he'll only pay 2 clear marks. Kaladin is shocked for a moment before thinking that he had used a bit on the injured bridgeman, and it had worked, and Syl also states that she thinks the man is lying. Kaladin states that the apothecary has been hiding from the war camp that the plants nearby are useful, and has been upcharging the sap to the soldiers. The apothecary says the soldiers won't believe him, then admits that he and the other apothecaries agreed on a price to sell the sap for, and he'll give Kaladin a sky mark for the sap, which is half of what he charges the soldiers. So what do you think about the apothecary lying about how much the sap is worth and how effective it is?
Business-wise, low-key makes sense. Business-wise?
Business-wise, it makes sense, yeah. For
Yeah.
sure.
So the apothecary continues that the high princes can easily afford the price of sap, so no one is going without medical care because of the cost. If Kaladin reveals what the apothecaries are doing, he'll only be allowing the high princes to keep more money. Kaladin agrees and convinces the man to let him continue to collect the sap for him, as it will be less likely for the apothecary to be caught in his scheme. Once he leaves, Syl notes that Kaladin seems upset, and Kaladin replies that's because of his father, he has a hard time charging for medical care. So what do you think about Kaladin negotiating to be the main supplier of the sap to the apothecary?
It's smart. It's exactly what he needed.
Yep.
So Kaladin says that he could run with this money, and Syl says no one would blame him considering the life he has here. However, Kaladin thinks that Teft and Rock would blame him, and they don't even know how much the sap is worth. He decides that he can't leave. He needs to stay and protect the bridgemen, even though part of himself thinks that he can't save them. So what do you think about the fact that Kaladin could have run away with this amount of money, but he chose to stay with the bridgemen instead?
Well, yeah, he's the chosen one.
Honorable. That's why Syl's with him.
She just wants a really, honorable man, you know?
Once Kaladin gets back to the barracks, Gaz tells him that he's going to be on chasm duty, which is one of the hardest jobs as the other bridgemen feel like Kaladin needs to pay for bringing back his wounded. Kaladin tries to argue
Yeah, that's not why, but sure.
Kaladin tries to argue that they're people, but Gaz says they'll either die out there or die here. As Kaladin walks away, he hears Gaz saying that maybe a chasm fiend will kill them off. We then skip forward to Kaladin climbing down a rope ladder into the chasms. He notes that there is moss and sturdy plants that only need dim lighting, and crem had built up along the floor over time. The top of the plateaus were anywhere from 40 to over 100 feet above them, depending on where you were in the chasms. Teft and Rock come down next, and Teft says that he's going to go after Gaz for giving them chasm duty. Rock says he's sure Gaz is crying in fear. Once the rest of the men were down, every fourth man, including Kaladin, lit their torches and began making their way further in. Kaladin notes that due to how many men are lost to the chasm, bridgemen are sent down to scavenge for spears and armor. The bridgemen are required to bring back a certain amount of salvage or have docked pay for the week, but generally it was easy enough to get that amount. However, the thorough search after coming back up out of the chasms to make sure they weren't keeping any spears was the main reason why chasm duty was so loathed. So what do you think about chasm duty?
The fact that they got it was stupid because they just come back from a thing or whatever, from battle or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah. I also liked the fact that Kaladin was like, it's not going to be on me, it's going to be on you.
Yeah, he's like, I'm not taking the fall for this one. I didn't ask for this.
Yep.
They also have to go through that unfortunate search afterwards.
Not that bad.
Wait, what was wrong with the search again?
They're basically doing a cavity search.
Oh, fun!
Yeah.
I'll definitely enjoy that.
What did you say?
Yeah, it's not that bad. Yeah, it's not that bad.
Well, apparently the bridgemen are not a fan.
I mean, if you have one person stick their fingers up your butt, you had plenty of them. So.
They gotta make sure they're not hiding money up there.
Yeah, that's what they're hiding up there for sure.
You think the soldiers don't do that willingly?
Oh god.
There's Anyway,
So Rock and Teft banter a bit back and forth. Rock jokes that due to a joke about hoarding your boots smelling, Rock will have to duel Teft through singing while drinking.
That's the funniest thing I've ever heard.
He's like, you'll drink so much that you'll forget about why you were arguing in the first place.
Yep, that's what I liked when he was like, when he said that. I was just like, yep, it's not wrong.
Calden also brings Denny into the conversation, and it comes out that Rock's name is a poem about a special rock his father had found on the day he was born, and that all Hornier names are poems.
It's just so funny because all I think about is the fucking like argument being a scat battle.
Rock also convinces Denny to sing, and Calden is surprised to hear the man has a very good voice. Once he's done, both Rock and Teft compliment him on his voice. None of the other bridgemen will join in with the group, though. So what did you think about Denny being basically recruited into their group?
hey, they got their bard.
Hey, you know, I didn't even think about that. That's pretty much exactly what they got.
They have a chef, they've got a bard, they've got Calden the fighter,
Mm-hmm.
they got Teft. We don't really know much about Teft yet.
Yeah, Taft.
They just got Teft. Teft is there.
But at least he's there.
He is there, though.
Mm-hmm.
So Calden marks the chasm wall with white chalk to make sure they won't get lost on their way back. He forces himself to lock.
Which is a bridge leader's duty.
It is his bridge and he takes it very seriously. He says,
Mm-hmm.
he's like, I'm not letting us get lost out here. So apparently, it's very dangerous to be in there.
He'd be great for hikes.
Kaladin for hike master.
He's a park ranger. That would be he'd be in modern day.
What's a
Wow.
park ranger?
They're the guys who like take care of like national parks and stuff.
Yeah, you know, they usually ride horses. You know, just pretty much all of what Canadians do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We ride polar bears.
You know, when I was little, I
Yeah.
did used to think that Canadians were like glorified park rangers.
Yes, I 100% thought. So I've seen a picture. When you see a picture of what are they called?
The
What are
Royal Canadian Mounted Police. The
No,
RCMP.
they have a different name. Like they have a different name that you guys
The nickname, the Mounties.
Mounties.
Mountain
yeah.
people.
Yeah, the Mounties. Every time somebody would show me a picture of the Mounties, I literally did think the same thing.
Yeah,
Darkness.
the
Yeah,
Mounties are
that's
the
literally
RCMP.
why I thought about it, because I
Yeah,
saw a picture
I
of
was like,
it.
oh, these are park rangers. You know, I never thought about them to be Canadian. Like it was just their park rangers.
No.
It's exactly what they look like.
It's the Royal Canadian Mounted Police.
Yeah, no, that's a mouthful. Don't ever
That's
say
why
that
we
again.
call them the RCMP.
The sounds like a whole
Goddamn.
fucking bomb.
RCMP. All right,
RCMP, Royal Canadian Mounted Police.
RCMP inbound.
Yeah, so Calvin forces himself to laugh and converse with Teft, Rock, and Dunny. Some of the other bridgemen keep close to them, but they won't interact with the conversation. Eventually, they get to a cluster of bodies that are half decayed and half eaten by Kremlings. Kaladin knows that they seem to be Sadius's men, and Dunny corrects him about not using the honorific of High Prince or Bright Lord first, and then apologizes as he says his master used to beat him if he didn't use honorifics.
They were like master.
Yeah, and Dunny admits that he was an apprentice, but won't say any more, not even what sort of apprentice he was. Kaladin notes that one of the corpses was a Light Eyes, and that most Light Eyes are recovered and then soul casted into stone. But obviously the family of this one hadn't paid to have the body recovered. Yeah, it's a little new thing that we learn is that Light Eyes often, when they die, get soul casted into like stone statues.
Cool, to be honest.
So as he helps the men separate the salvage into piles, he notices a spear sticking out of the rocks. He grabs it and notes that it's a well-made weapon, and he thinks back to his time in the army and being trained. As he's lost in thought, Moesh calls out to him and asks him if he'll use the spear to stab himself. He also calls Kaladin Lordling, and Kaladin wonders if Moesh had been speaking to Gaz. What do you think about the fact that Moesh
Probably.
seems to have been talking to Gaz and stuff?
Must have maybe they're plotting something against him.
Wait, who was starting who?
Moesh was apparently talking to Gaz.
Yeah, because he called him Lordling.
He used the same nickname that Gaz uses for him. And I think Moesh also confirms afterwards that he's like been talking to him a little bit.
Maybe they're planning a throuple.
Oh god. I mean, Syl did want Kaladin to give the love potion to Gaz.
There you go. Yeah, down with the possible.
She's like, give one to Moash, give one to Gaz. Then they'll like you more.
Right.
Yeah, that's how that works. 100%.
That's how she thinks it works.
Well, you know, Sill's a little wet behind the ears.
What does that mean?
You don't
Naive.
know what that means?
Naive.
No.
Naive.
Oh, naive. Okay. I don't think that phrase is super common, or if it is, it's like, I don't know. I've never
It's
heard it.
super common where I'm from.
So we're coming from like older people.
Well, yeah, I'm old, alright? Shush.
You're not that old.
I am. I'm older than both of you.
Only a few years older than me.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, only a
So-
few years older than me too.
Yeah. Okay, darkness. Okay.
This is the baby.
Yeah, uh-huh.
So Sigzo also taunts Kaladin, but Drehy says that at least Kaladin is trying. Kaladin hears a bunch of the bridgemen mumbling about how important Kaladin thinks he is, and that he probably never held a spear, wasn't actually in the army previously. Kaladin suddenly snaps the spear into place under his arm, causing Moash and the other bridgemen to stop their taunting and freeze as they watch him. Kaladin feels like he's transported away as he begins doing an advanced kata, jabbing with the spear and spinning it around himself. Kaladin thinks that he had learned quickly how to use a spear, but like how you shouldn't be surprised when a baby breathes, you shouldn't be surprised when Kaladin Stormblast knows how to use a spear. Kaladin
Okay. That's the funniest thing I've ever heard.
Kaladin fights with the wind, and she laughs in return. Kaladin finishes the kata, and the men stare at him in shock, Moash even dropping the spears he was holding. Kaladin apologizes to the spear quietly as he places it in the weapon pile, and then shouts for the men to get back to work. They hurry back into action, and Kaladin goes over to Teft and Rock. Teft says that what Kaladin did was amazing, but Kaladin insists it wasn't special and it was just a kata to work the muscles. Teft also mentions that he could see a spren zipping around him, and the other bridgemen had also pointed it out, which surprises both Kaladin and Rock. Syl refuses to look at Kaladin as she sits primly on his shoulder. So what do you think about Syl being visible to the other bridgemen as she spun around Kaladin while he did his kata?
She knows something.
I feel like that's more. It shows more about what Kaladin did than Syl in general. I think
Syl was apparently having fun. They both were having fun.
Syl is warlusting right now. She wants to fight.
Sorry, I cut you off a little bit, Mythic. What were you saying before?
I don't even remember. It's okay.
Sorry. Also, what did you think about how impressed the bridgemen were by Kaladin's skill with the spear?
Man, I didn't even get to see it, and I was impressed. So
low key, I'm gonna point it out. This whole as soon as he started doing the fucking spear thing, where he picked it up, and everything after up until the end of it is exactly how my writing looks like. And it's kind of cringy.
So Rock then says that Kaladin could challenge a Shardbearer and become a Bright Lord, but Kaladin says he doesn't want that and he tried it once. Teft tries to push for more information.
That part right there, they just glance past. I'm like, the fuck?
Yeah, so Teft tries to push for more information, but Kaladin just asks where Dunny is. Rock replies that they found some dead Proshendi that have weapons and gemstones in their beards. Kaladin also asks about...
I would not have let him just get away with that.
Yeah.
Right.
Kaladin also asks about their armor, but Rock replies that they can't use it. Kaladin finds this silly as he's seen their armor, but then when he goes to check on the Proshendi, he sees that the armor seems to be growing out of them. So what do you think Kaladin meant when he tried to be a Bright Lord once?
He tried to kill somebody.
He challenged the dude.
A Shardbearer?
Dude?
Yeah.
Apparently didn't die doing it.
No, because you know what he said about the Light Eyes, and
Yeah, he doesn't trust them. They're all bad people.
All of them.
What if he won and he rejected it?
Well, so we do know that he said previously about his past that they're like, why'd you become a bridgeman? He's like, well, I killed someone once, but that wasn't why I was made a bridgeman. It was me rejecting their gift afterwards, why he became a slave.
So what if he did succeed and he's like, nah, I'm good.
You think someone got mad at him for that for some reason?
Yeah. Because imagine wasting a Shardbearer's life trying to get their shit and then not being like, nah, I'm good.
Also, what do you think about the fact that the Proshendi seem to grow their armor?
You know what I just realized?
More crabs.
That's pretty cool. But also, what if the reason Kaladin rejected it was I'm already good enough to beat him, whatever. Why would I need a shard blade to prove myself, Because that's what his whole character seems to be like. But yeah.
You think he basically didn't want to be promoted type thing and was like, no, I like what I'm doing.
Yep.
Yeah, in a way,
Yeah, so that you were saying crab people?
Yeah, I think they're all crabs. Yep, they're all crabs.
Crab people.
Even especially when he said that it's like carapace. I was like, yep, they're crab. They're different.
Crab people, crab pets, crab monsters,
and
then humans.
I mean, which are, half crabs, so.
So, once they had collected all the salvage they could, they begin to head back. Kaladin again gets Rock, Teft, and Denny into conversation, and is able to get Drehy and Torfin to talk a bit. Rock tells Kaladin that in a few weeks the bridgeman will be his, but Kaladin says he doesn't have a few weeks. He then tells Rock that they're going to go to the market together once they're done being searched, as he wants to try out his secret weapon, which is Rock. So what did you initially think Kaladin meant when he said Rock was his secret weapon?
Wait, against what?
So he said he's trying to bring the bridgemen together. And Rock's like, how are you gonna do that? He's like, I have a secret weapon. It's you.
Rock's gonna seduce them.
He's gonna what?
Seduce them.
Seduce them?
He's gonna be like, oh, you want to join us now, don't you?
Hopefully he doesn't do it by putting chaldung in their food.
What do you mean? That's according like a gift.
The best. Yeah, that's the best fucking gift for sure.
Mythic, did you have any thoughts when you first read that Kaladin said that rock was going to be a secret weapon?
I just waited, honestly.
So we skipped to 2 hours later with Kaladin and Rock returning from the market. He gestures for Rock to put down what they had bought near where Teft and Dunny had built a ring of stones and wood. As Dunny and Teft get water for the cauldron that Rock had set up, Hobber comes out. Kaladin has him sit down as Rock begins unwrapping ingredients and seasoning. In no time, they had a roaring fire and bubbling stew. As they sat around the fire, Teft claps and Dunny sings, and just when Kaladin was worried everything was too forced, Scar makes his way out of the barracks and over to the group. Kaladin offers Scar a bowl of stew, to which he accepts as he says he'd even join the Night Watcher for some stew. Some other bridgemen slowly come out and join them, and Kaladin notices that Gaz passes by, but Kaladin had made sure they weren't going to be breaking any rules, so Gaz says and does nothing. In the morning, I just lost my place.
Good.
In the morning, almost all of the other bridgemen except for Moash, Sigil, Narm, and a couple others get up at the same time as Kaladin. Most of the ones that get up even join him in training, and Kaladin thinks that he'll have Moash and the others in no time, as they even hadn't said no to the stew. Now Kaladin just needed to get the bridgeman alive long enough for his work to mean something. So what do you think about the success of Kaladin's plan to lure out the bridgemen with stew and singing?
It was smart. What soldier wouldn't want food, Loki? What worker in general?
What do you think, Mythic, of Kaladin's plan to try and get the bridgemen to be more of a group together?
Just like dark. So honestly,
That's right. I got all the right ideas.
yeah, you do sometimes.
You don't want to agree with that.
So that was our final chapter, so I've got some overview questions. First of all, do you think that Adolin will eventually believe in Dalinar's visions, or is this going to continue to be a point of contention between them?
Nah, he's not gonna believe. He's gonna be their downfall for that.
What do you think, Mythic?
It's hard to tell at this point. I definitely think he's gonna. I definitely think he's gonna fuck up at some point.
Mm.
He's not gonna be. He might. There might be a point at time where he becomes
I believe it.
helpful. Yeah.
Also, do you think Kaladin is going to be able to keep getting money from the Knobweeb sap, or is there going to be something happen with that, and it's going to stop him from being able to continue to fund their group?
I think somebody's gonna find out about it and kind of try to take it for themselves.
What do you think, Darkness?
It'll eventually fuck up, but he's gonna get a decent amount, I guess.
Also, do you think that Kaladin's ever going to get Moash and the others to also group up with him, or do you think there's always going to be a couple bridgemen that are anti-Kaladin?
I think there's always going to be a little bit of a faction that's against him.
Everyone needs haters
until they die.
Alright, did you guys have any other thoughts or theories after these chapters?
No, I'm completely empty-headed. That's what I mean.
Oh, that's why you're here. Okay.
Yeah. I'm not here willingly.
So if there's nothing else, then for next episode, we're going to be finishing off part 2. We're going to be doing chapter 28 through the end of interlude 6.
Disgusting.
We're going to be doing 4 chapters, one chapter 28, and then the 3 interludes.
Disgusting.
So yeah, it's going to be. So we're going to get some more little looks into the rest of the world that's going on, and we'll get another Zeth chapter in the interludes as well.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. So look forward to that for finishing off part 2 next week. Thank you guys all so much for listening. We really appreciate it. And yeah, we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.